Galileo and his telescope. Benjamin Franklin with his key and a kite. Isaac Newton and a falling apple. While these men and their methods of discovery are recounted and remembered, most of our great scientific discoveries are found using a tried-and-true technique that is rarely celebrated. But today, we'll be singing its praises. The approach is simple, yet oh so effective. Pouring things into other things, and writing things down. Two containers, two things inside them. All I have to do is pour one thing into the other thing. Then I write things down. Seems easy, doesn't it? Tell that to the great scholars and researchers who dedicated years of their lives to this practice in order to find the simplest forms of matter, the elements.
Yes, when we look at the periodic table, we often just think, oh yeah, someone put all these little elements into nice little boxes for us. But behind each of those boxes was someone who painstakingly took the time to pour many things into many other things and then write things down. It really is remarkable.
In 1754, Scottish physicist Joseph Black made two great discoveries while pouring things into other things and writing things down.
Incredible! I poured one thing into another thing, and now I have a thing I'd like to write down. There! I've discovered it! Carbon dioxide.
Well, Joseph Black not only isolated and identified carbon dioxide, but he also helped identify gas as a state of matter. And how did he do it? Well, he poured something into something else, and then he wrote something down. Oh, miraculous, miraculous.
While pouring things into other things and writing things down is typically an intimate act performed in isolation, one man brought it to the public eye. Next time on Pouring Things into Other Things and Writing Things Down, discovering the elements.
One fine day in Chicago, the city is abuzz with friendly people on adventures. Here at the planetarium, everyone is looking at the sky together. Wow! The world signal comes through, they gotta chase it, 'cause something's trying to reach them. It might be trying to teach them something. They've got a new job to do, they gotta face it. The signal is clear, coming in from past the stratosphere. Wow, signal, they got a wow signal. Yes, it's a wow signal for you and I. Yeah, yeah.
The night Dmitri Mendeleev completed his first draft of the periodic table of elements, he was supposed to be attending a cheese cooperative. He never made it. Here's what he missed.
Well, where is the man?
Now, Stefan, be patient. Mendeleev said he would be here, so he will be here.
I'm starving!
The cheese must wait. He is our honored guest, and he would not miss it.
Yes, of course, he'll be here. Now I will say, my cheese is best consumed chilled, so if he's not here soon, I might...
He will be here.
Yes, good.
The reason historians know of the Cheese Cooperative meeting on this night was because some of Mendeleev's notes were found scribbled onto the back of his Cheese Cooperative invite. His driver waited outside in the snow for him for hours, to no avail.
No, the cheese must wait.
Olaf, what do you have here?
Oh, yes. Well, we have a sharp variety, best enjoyed with an olive, something salty, and this one is a creamy variety.
Stop! You mustn't talk so of the cheese. This is torture. My mouth is watering.
Stefan, control yourself. No one has a bite of cheese until he arrives, which I'm sure will be very soon.
Could we at least smell the cheese?
No, of course not. Do not smell the cheese until Dmitri Mendeleev has smelled the cheese.
Really, I think mine at least has lost its chill, and I...
Enough about the chill of the cheese, Petri. If you speak of the chill of the cheese one more time, I will begin to lose my patience. He will be here. I'm sure of it.
He'll be here any minute.
What could possibly be more important than the Cheese Cooperative?
Yes, I've done it. I've successfully arranged the elements periodically on a table. The periodic table of elements, yes.
That's it. I'm eating it.
No, Stefan! No!
Quickly, put mine on a cracker. I believe it may still have a chill.
Shut your mouth about the chill of the cheese, Petri. Shut your mouth!
Yes.
I have so much cheese in my mouth.
A good one.
Again!
This has been the story of the periodic table of elements.
I dreamt that I was hydrogen, atomic number one, a building block of everything from water to the sun. I was just a nucleus as simple as could be, surrounded by a misty sky as far as I could see. With nothing else around me, I drifted all day long. I felt a little lonely and sang this little song. I have one electron, but I barely see its face. Somewhere there's other nuclei, though I don't see a trace. But if they are like me, then it must be the case that everything is made of mostly empty space. Everything is made of mostly empty space. Everything is made of mostly empty space. Empty space. I dreamt that I was high above and finally could see that the haze I thought was empty was full of energy. I revised my lonely song 'cause I was not alone. Nuclei were floating by in clouds all of their own. We were held together by bonds I couldn't see, overlapping waveforms of probability. Singing, I have one electron that surrounds me like a cloud, connecting me to atoms that are floating all about. And since they are like me, I finally figured out that there is really no such thing as empty space. There is really no such thing as empty space. There is really no such thing as empty space. Empty space. Empty space.
Mad science. Is it still mad if you're laughing? The answer to this question and more were divulged in the private notebooks of Sir Humphry Davy over 200 years ago. Today, we interview Professor Sharon Ruston, principal investigator of the Davy Notebooks Project. This crowdsourcing project, hosted by the Zooniverse, gave thousands of volunteer readers and transcribers access to Davy's personal writings, where he divulged his greatest ambitions, most significant discoveries, and late-night attempts at poetry after inhaling nitrous oxide for science. What secrets did these volunteers unearth while peeping the private pages of this audacious man of chemistry? I'm going to get to the bottom of it. I'm Stacey Quasar, and this is News at the Speed of Light. Professor Sharon Ruston, it is an absolute honor to be meeting with you today. Your work on the Davy Notebooks Project is inspiring, to say the least. The way you rallied the public to help read and transcribe 75 200-year-old notebooks written by a dead man in their spare time is quite a feat. So my first question is, how did you convince them? Why does Humphry Davy deserve their precious free time as opposed to, say, a smoothie run or scrolling through some AI images of sweet buns turning into pugs?
Thank you for that question. I think that Humphry Davy is quite well known, particularly maybe in Britain. He was one of the most famous scientists of the early 19th century. He isolated more chemical elements than anyone else has before or since. I think people enjoyed it because it's kind of like a puzzle. So you're trying to work out what he's writing. I think people came like a little bit addicted to it themselves. They kind of enjoyed the work and did a lot of it.
Humphry Davy, he was known for being dashing, daring, and delectably dapper. Also potentially a bit of a druggie. Can you give me an example of another one of his great achievements that perhaps starts with a D? Bonus points if it does.
Well, he did actually doodle quite a lot in their notebooks, and there's quite a lot of drawings. Lots of doodles of faces in profile, but we could never work out who they were.
A dashing, daring, druggy doodler. Quite a catch. Davy often made a spectacle of himself entertaining the public, sucking up newly discovered gases on stage at the Royal Institute, a practice which we sadly no longer see at educational institutes today. What have you learned is high Davy like? Is he silly and more sociable, or is he paranoid and non-communicative?
He was the first person to inhale nitrous oxide when people thought it was fatal to do so. So that shows he was quite foolhardy. He tried lots of different gases. I guess he was kind of scientific in the way he went about it. While he did experiment on himself, he very much tried to record exactly how much of the gas he was having, what effect it had on him. So the notebooks are an attempt at an accurate record, and he does lots of silly things when he's off his head on nitrous oxide. Sometimes I think he writes poetry as well, which is perhaps something that you wouldn't expect.
Do you have an example of a poem that you could perhaps read?
Yeah, so I wonder about this one, whether he composed this either under the influence or in an attempt to try and capture what it felt like to breathe nitrous oxide. So it's called On Breathing the Nitrous Oxide. Not in the ideal dreams of wild desire have I beheld a rapture waken in form. My bosom burns with no unhallowed fire, yet is my cheek with rushy blushes warm. Yet are my eyes with sparkling lustre filled, yet is my mouth implete with murmuring sound, yet are my limbs with inward transports thrilled, and clad with newborn mightiness around.
My God, Humphry, he's lit my bosom afire. Being a giggle boy himself, I think it fair we have a little laugh at Davy's expense. What is the cringiest thing one of the volunteers has found in Davy's notebooks?
Well, one of the cringiest things in the notebooks, which we have had much discussion about with the volunteers, is the very large handwriting Davy and Newton. He's obviously under the influence of nitrous oxide. It's a very self-aggrandizing statement where he's comparing himself to Newton, putting himself on the same line as Newton and the same page. And I think, he was very young at that point.
How many volunteers were there? Thousands?
3,841.
I'm curious if Humphry Davy knew that there were 3,841 people in his future who would be seeing these notes if he would have taken a little extra care before dashing things down in his notebooks, you know?
Lord Byron made sure that one of his friends burned his notebooks because they were so scandalous. And the letters are quite scandalous, so what was in the notebooks? Who knows?
They knew that Lord Byron was a naughty boy. Humphry Davy, pretty naughty. Not as naughty as Lord Byron. Now, Professor Sharon Ruston, thank you so much for joining me today. I cannot wait to get my eyes on more of these scandalous little notebooks myself.
So they are hosted by Lancaster Digital Collections. They're on the website there, and you can see them, search them. I'd love for people to read them.
I'll be pouring a glass of wine and spending all night by the fire. Humphry, you can't get away from me. Thank you, Professor Sharon. Well, there you have it, folks. Next time you put a pen to paper with the intent of divulging your greatest secrets, make sure you write clearly, or else thousands of strangers may need to work together to transcribe your cringiest ponderings, especially if you've made some of the greatest scientific discoveries to date. If you'd like to volunteer to transcribe some scandalous historical writings, visit zooniverse.org to see what projects are available. Who knows what kind of cringe you may discover? I'm Stacey Quasar, and this is News at the Speed of Light.
In the early 19th century, a young and eager chemist named Humphry Davy helped popularize experimental science by making a sort of performance of it.
I'll admit, I feel a rush when I look into a sea of friendly and eager faces waiting for me to pour one thing into another. It's quite exhilarating.
Davy was young and extremely and wildly attractive, and by pouring things into other things in front of an audience, well, he helped spark a curiosity amongst the public, including women, though at the time it was considered improper for them to pour things into other things and write things down for science. Well, people of all genders and backgrounds came in droves to see this insanely beautiful man pour one thing into another thing.
Joseph Black's curiosity and Humphry Davy's charm helped fill several more spots on the periodic table of elements through pouring things into other things and writing things down, but it was the sheer determination of one scientist's pouring of things that changed the world forever. Next time on Pouring Things into Other Things and Writing Things Down, discovering the elements.
Find everything you need?
Yeah, thanks.
Brought your own bag, I see. Oh, this one's special. Hydrogen, lightest element, even lighter than helium. I wouldn't put in balloons though, because it's extremely flammable.
Thanks, I'll keep that in mind.
Oh, wow. That's a lot of nitrogen you got here. Big plans this weekend? Love nitrogen. So many fun ways to use it. I'm sure you knew that, huh? Iodine, an essential nutrient for brain development and thyroid function. You really don't need it anymore because they just put in salt anyway.
You're getting all this from barcodes?
No. I have a PhD. And these aren't barcodes, they're emission spectra. See, when you point a light source at an element, it activates electrons at specific energy levels. And then you get a readout like this. Each of those lines represents a wavelength in the electromagnetic spectrum. Each element has a different configuration of these lines. If there are only a few lines, that...
Try and hurry. Can you just...
Of course, sir. Antimony? What even is that?
I thought you had a PhD.
Sulfur. Basically a big box of farts. Arsenic. Restocking your poison cabinet? Don't go to dinner at this guy's house.
I'm sorry, okay?
3 boxes of bismuth. Upset stomach.
What?
I need a price check down here for bismuth. We have a customer here that has explosive...
No, it's not...
Hey, it's okay. We've all been there. Can I get that price check?
Come in.
Hi. I don't know if you remember me.
Oh, I do. I forget no one.
Okay, because I had a mustache the last time I was here, so...
That was a mustache.
Yeah, so, your predictions came true.
I know.
Yeah, I guess you would.
What brings you in today?
Well, life has been so much better since the last time I saw you. I got that new job. My wife and I are back together. We're even thinking about having a baby. We have 19 dogs as well. But despite all this good luck, I don't know, I wonder, is there something more I should be looking for? Am I a good person? Am I going to be an inspiration to my child? Do my dogs think of me when I leave the room? What is my purpose in life?
The big question. What is my purpose? The big one. Big one. For this, I will need my crystals.
Oh, aren't crystals just sort of a...
A sort of what?
I'm sorry. Aren't they, a sham? Like they have no real powers, they're just kind of intention-setting objects?
Oh, crystals are very powerful. Without them, much of the universe would still be a mystery to us. Did you know that by stretching and squeezing a crystal, they can be used to measure radioactive energy?
Really? I had no idea.
Well, do you think Marie Curie spent hours and hours stretching crystals just for fun?
No, I didn't think that.
Did you know that crystals helped Henry Moseley to measure the energy emitted by X-rays being shot through different elements in their simplest forms?
I don't even know what that means.
Not only that, but did you know that by looking through my crystal,
Yes?
with my all-powerful
What is it?
see that your higher meaning.
Okay.
Whoa, hot potato. You are going to be cool shirt guy.
What?
So it says. So it's gonna be like a fun, cool shirt guy.
That's ridiculous.
Not really. I mean, everybody likes a cool, fun shirt guy. I mean, they'll be like, hey, cool shirt. Such a fun shirt.
No.
Hey, where'd you get that? Where'd you get that cool shirt?
That's not a purpose.
Looks like it's your purpose. I don't know.
This is awful. Awful.
I don't know. I think it's pretty cool. Cool shirts, colorful ones, silly ones. You got all kinds of options.
No.
Suit yourself. I think it's pretty cool.
Right. Yeah. A slam. Go on.
Whoa. Now that's a cool shirt.
When studying nitrous oxide, I put it in a glass. I sniffed and giggled with all my friends to identify this special gas.
I noticed that all the elements have their own special light pattern. So pretty and unique they are, these dazzling little bits of matter.
Radioactivity seeped into my skin. Radium in my bare hands. Materials yet unknown to man flowing into my glands. It's in my blood. I win. I win. I win. Science!
It was Marie Curie who really took pouring things into other things and writing things down to another level. An atomic level, I might say. Is that uncouth? Is it? Can I get an answer?
Taking a closer look at this thing, I can tell there's a hidden thing inside it. A thing we've yet to discover. And I'm going to find it. I just need to pour a lot of things into other things, and then write things down.
Madame Curie knew there was a thing in the things she was pouring into other things, and she was even able to see a sneak peek of the thing through spectroscopy. You know, the studying of light spectra of the thing. But that wasn't enough. No. She was going to have to isolate the thing, and the best way to do that was by pouring tons of one thing into other things.
In 1898, after 4 long years of one thing being poured into other things, Marie Curie was able to use 10 tons of one thing to isolate 1/10 of a gram of another thing. A new thing. The thing? Radium.
Marie Curie had a lot going against her. She was a woman, so a lot of men were like, hey, she can't pour things into other things and write things down. Women don't know how. But she showed the world that not only is she capable of pouring a tremendous amount of things into other things every day, but those things also happen to be radioactive and deadly. Unfortunately, she was unknowingly also pouring these things into her own bloodstream, and the things were deteriorating her cells from the inside out. A shame, really. But truly remarkable.
Madame Curie gave her life to pouring things into other things for science. She wasn't the first, nor will she be the last. In this age of artificial intelligence and computer science, we often forget that sometimes the best way to move scientific discovery forward is the simplest way. Taking one thing, holding it over another thing, and just letting it pour. The next big discovery is just waiting to be written down.